The forbidden button.
Did you know that 1 out of every 68 children in the United States are diagnosed with autism each year? Well, today I'm going to tell you about the autism spectrum disorder and the effects that it can have on somebody. This should be interesting to you because I know some of you already have children, and most of you will have children in the future, and this is a pretty common disorder. The reason I chose this topic was because my little brother has autism, and I've been around it all my life, or all his life. My 3 main points today are what autism is exactly, the difficulty somebody with autism might have, and how big the spectrum really is. So my first main point today will be what autism is exactly. According to the Mayo Clinic, the definition of autism is a neurodevelopmental disorder that impairs a child's ability to interact and communicate with others. Now, neurodevelopment means a disorder in the way that the brain functions. Also, it is said that, as in this visual that I'll show you, autism is way more common in boys than it is in girls. Autism Speaks says that 1 out of every 42 boys and 1 out of every 189 girls have autism in the U.S. each year. So autism affects 3 different areas: social interaction, communication, and behaviors. There are many different signs and symptoms to autism, and every child will be different depending on the severity of their autism. People with autism will range from being mildly impaired to severely disabled. Also, the learning abilities will vary greatly, being severely gifted like Albert Einstein or severely challenged. My brother is probably very gifted. He's really smart with computers. He's probably the smartest one in our family, and he's only 15 years old. The symptoms of autism will start usually before 3 years old. Parents will first notice that a child will not begin talking right away at the same age as other children do. But also in some cases it happens where children will begin talking at the same age as other children, but then they'll lose their communication skills. Researchers don't know the exact cause of autism. They believe it has something to do with gene changes or mutations, as you will, and there's also no known cure for autism. Now that I've explained what autism is exactly, I want to share some difficulties someone with autism may have. So according to Mayo Clinic, there are 3 different areas of autism: communication, social interaction, and behaviors. With communication, they can be nonverbal to verbal, depending on the spectrum. In some cases, they can be delayed with their communication, or as I said, they can start talking at the same age as other children and then lose their communication skills. My brother didn't start talking until about 3 years old, and then when he did, he never shut up, and he had his own language, and he just talked all the time. There are many symptoms with social interaction as well. Someone with autism may not keep eye contact with you. They won't express their feelings or emotions. They'll keep everything bottled inside, and they'll kind of want to be alone in their own little world. They'd rather not be interacted with others. The behaviors vary as well. They have repetitive movements like spinning or rocking or pacing back and forth. Odd movements are pretty common as well. A good example would be my brother. We had a kitchen island, and he would walk around the kitchen island just back and forth, and he'd be on his tippy toes, and he'd twirl his fingers all the time. I don't know why he did that, but he did it all the time. Now that you know what autism is and some difficulties with autism, I want to explain how big the spectrum really is. The autism spectrum ranges from high functioning to low functioning, and the word spectrum in autism spectrum disorder means that there's a wide range of symptoms and severity. People on the high spectrum, I would say, are more hyper. It's also associated with ADHD. They're very talkative than others. This would be my brother. He's very talkative. He really never shut up when he got talking about something. Another symptom would be moving constantly, never being able to sit still, and like I said, he would just pace and pace, like twirling his fingers and on his tippy toes. Now on the low functioning side, these are the more severely disabled. They're very little talking to no talking at all. When I was younger, we lived across a family who had a son who had autism as well, and he was the exact opposite of my brother. He was severely disabled and he didn't talk at all, so they're the complete opposite. Now that my brother's 15 years old, he's mellowed out quite a lot actually. He's not as talkative, he's kind of quiet and keeps to himself and plays video games all the time. But once you get him talking about something, he'll go off and just keep talking. So in conclusion, I've explained what autism is, the difficulties someone with autism may have, and how big the spectrum is. Autism is pretty common, and I think it's worth knowing about.